So we are in Long Grove. This is technically Long Grove, right?
Technically, yeah.
Technically, we are in Long Grove, and we're here at the BridgeHouse Cider Cidery. So named because of the bridge that I did not see when I was making my way here. Tell me the name, the story behind the name.
Yeah, so the name behind BridgeHouse is my mom's dad, so my grandparents have a farm up in Decorah, Iowa, with said bridge running across a creek.
Beautiful. Decorah's beautiful country.
Beautiful area. So
and they make, obviously, we've taken the show there for beer. This is not beer. This is cider.
Cider. That's
right. Now
not brewing.
The difference between your beer and your cider, I think I've learned a couple of things hosting this show. There's apples in this.
Yes.
And Alan, the secret here is that the apples that are in this are the apples that are right outside where we're doing this interview.
Yes, and the secret especially is that these apples are designed for cider. Well, a lot of these are old world cider varieties, so they don't have that crunch factor storability, but they have a lot of other properties, acids, sugar, chemical components that make really good cider.
When you say old world, I mean that's probably why we have apples, right? Like it was probably more about making cider than having something to bring your teacher, right? And
precisely.
In the old world, you would this was like the first and maybe only use for apples.
Yeah, so especially we look back pre-Prohibition, America was filled with apple trees, filled with cider, right? It was the drink of choice. It was probably safer than water most of the time.
Right.
But come Prohibition, the axe met the tree, and now we are left with not a lot of apples, not a lot of cideries, and that's sort of when breweries and beers sort of moved into that space.
And it looks like too, you have on the label here, you have 30 varieties of American, European, and heirloom apples.
Yes.
Let me ask a dumb question, Alan. What's an heirloom apple?
Old apple.
Okay.
So,
but like this is like a single apple that Grandma brought from the old country, and you just take a little piece off it every year. That sounds creepy. That's not a thing.
So yeah, so old world apples. They're apples from a lot of the time Europe. So when we're dealing with apples, right? If I cut open an apple and take the apple seed and plant the apple seed,
right,
I will never get the apple that I planted it from. I have thousands of different genetic possibilities in that apple seed. So if I want the same apple year after year, if I want to plant an orchard,
wait, Alan. if I get an apple,
yep,
and I cut it in half.
Yep, you get a Honeycrisp apple, cut it in half.
Let's say Honeycrisp, and then I take those seeds from that apple, and I Johnny Apple seed in my backyard.
Yep.
I'm not getting Honeycrisp apples.
Nope.
What am I getting?
Something. You'll get
well,
something
that's confusing.
Probably slightly reminiscent of Honeycrisp. If I plant 10 seeds, you'll get 10 different trees.
How does that?
So due to the genetics of the apple,
you broke my brain in half. How does that work? Like, how does anyone ever get a Honeycrisp apple then?
So the actual roots in the soil
Okay.
are different than the tree in the air. So there's a junction.
What kind of witchcraft are you pulling here?
You'll cut the rootstock, have that rootstock. I'll have my Honeycrisp tree, cut off a piece of the dormant budwood, and then I'll take that rootstock, take the tree, and put them together, tape them up, put a little bit of clay on it.
This isn't tampering in God's domain. This is how apples have been made for, I'm guessing,
forever.
a long time.
This is the only way you can do it.
And you'll know what it is because of the work that you did beforehand.
Yep.
That just seems like a lot. Boy, I'm glad. Alan, you're a smart guy. There's no way. I don't think.
So
how would you figure that out?
Somebody was planting a lot of apples.
So all 650 trees back there, you had to cut and splice and Franken-tree them together.
Somebody did.
Well, okay, somebody, some arborist or some appleologist. I don't know the terms.
Pomologist.
Pomologist. You're soaking in it. I've learned so much, and now I'm so very thirsty. Can we try some of this delicious BridgeHouse cider?
A lot of talking. Need to drink. Okay.
You guys got to be thirsty too, right? I mean, this is a lot of information. What are we starting off with here?
Toasted oak.
Toasted oak. And is this, did I read that this is like toasted in like it says aged in bourbon oak. That was what I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, so we have these giant spirals of bourbon oak.
Okay.
That will then just soak in one of these tanks. So once that cider has transferred into our cold room, then we introduce the bourbon oak.
So rather than barrel aging, where you age it in a barrel, you're basically taking the barrel and putting it in.
Yeah.
That reminds me of something my mother once told me growing up. She said, don't bring any barrel home because you don't know what that distiller's been up to. And it was good advice. Okay, so here's the toasted oak. Cheers. Okay, so you wanted me to have a dry experience, and this is almost champagne-ish, right?
Yeah.
That's a perfect, and you get that apple right at the front, right? Where it's like, you feel like you're biting into an apple, and then just kind of delightfully evaporates. This is wonderful. You know what the oak is in this? It's like when you go to a Marvel movie, and then you watch all the credits, and then there's the little thing at the end. That's what it's like. It's like right at the end. Like, I'm glad I stuck around for the finish on this because it's enjoyable.
So next, we'll move into Hoppin' Frog, hopped cider, hoppin'. So it's not hopped cider as a really piney IPA. It's going to be hopped as in light floral, passion fruit, citrus.
Oh boy, I don't know if I've ever had a dry hopped cider before.
It's the first time for everything.
Oh boy, that's the winner.
So this is my personal favorite.
We're done here. This is the winner. I mean, no offense. I'm sure these two are going to be fine. This is the winner, though. Wow. I'll tell you this. Next time, end with that. Wow, is that good?
So this is going to be Lily's Best.
Lily's Best. Now, Lily is a sheep?
Yes, so Lily's actually about 100 yards that way.
There's an actual sheep.
She is a Southdown baby doll sheep.
Here's to Lily. No, that is much sweeter. That is really good. These are all excellent, and they're available at grocery stores everywhere.
Yep, Hy-Vee on 53rd, Northcott Foods, in a variety of restaurants around the area.
Ask for it by name. Again, out here in Long Grove. Alan, can't thank you enough for the time and the delicious cider. It's BridgeHouse Cider, and this one especially. Hopped. That's the winner. Alan, cheers.
This is our Iowa Strangler.
Iowa Strangler. That's charming. Who came up with that name?